T7M Radio brings to you the best of 7 sports talk with 7 Mitchell.
All right, man. Well, we know definitely what we came to do. So, again, let's get into some predictions for Week 11 of the NFL. My prediction, this may be the game of the week, definitely the most talked about game of the week. The surge and reemerging Dallas Cowboys can actually complete a season sweep of the AFC North, J.O., with a win over my visiting Baltimore Ravens this Sunday. The Cowboys riding an 8-game winning streak, NFL's best. They've already beaten the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns. Now, Baltimore has bounced back from a 4-game losing streak with victories over the Steelers as well as the Browns to take over sole possession of first place in the division. So my Ravens are definitely looking sharp. The Ravens also were the only team in this division to emerge with a victory in Week 10, and we can further extend the lead down the road for the AFC North. So early predictions, man, who you got? Dak and the Dallas Cowboys or my defense led by that front 7 in the Baltimore Ravens this upcoming Sunday?
I don't see Baltimore. Baltimore have a slight chance, but not a great chance at all. I don't think Baltimore front 7 can handle the power of the Dallas offensive line, and I just think it's just going to be a pounding in the trenches.
Now, I mean, you're just so disrespectful to my team, and the proof is already in the pudding. You're starting already. We got the number 1 rated defense. I just told you that. Number 1 against the rush. So if we take Ezekiel Elliott out the equation, where's Dallas going to score at? You relying on Dak Prescott to really beat this Ravens team by himself, along with Beasley and Dez Bryant?
We've been doing it the whole entire season. Why? I don't have no reason to think the Baltimore Ravens of all teams is going to put a stop to this incredible run from Dak Prescott, the league MVP. We're going to put Jimmy Smith one-on-one against Dez Bryant.
I don't have no problem with that.
I don't like that. I don't like that scenario.
Come on, man. When has Dez Bryant ever been known really to go down the field? I'm more worried about Beasley going down the field more than Dez Bryant, and I'm not worried about Jason Witten. Very overrated at this point.
True, but Jimmy Smith is too up and down and inconsistent. He definitely can't guard Dez Bryant one-on-one. And maybe if Eric Weddle or Ladarius Webb give him some help, maybe he has a chance. But if y'all gonna put 8 men in the box, it's a wrap.
I mean, you acting like Jimmy Smith is not a potential All-Pro cornerback.
No, he's not. Nah, he's a solid.
What?
He's a decent quarterback. He's a cornerback. He's not a potential anything far as upper echelon.
I'm dead serious, man. I got to talk to the bosses, man. I really need to talk to the bosses, man. You just seem like a hater right now. I mean, where's the significance behind your argument? I mean, you're telling me something, and I'm trying to explain to you, we have the number 1 rated defense, number 1 against the run, and you're telling me that they can't match up.
You know what?
Dallas?
Our Packers had the number 1 run defense when we faced Dallas, and Ezekiel Elliott shredded us. We not the Ravens. You know, you can make that argument.
Yeah, but that's not an argument. That's not an argument. Your Green Bay Packers are nowhere near on the level of my Baltimore Ravens defensively, all across the board. I mean, we can question it at quarterback. I want to bring something else up to you. Speaking of Ravens defense, I'm not sure if you are aware, but today out in Owens Mills in the Ravens camp, teammates shouted, "We got your back" to Baltimore Ravens Joe Flacco as he acknowledged that he was taken aback a little bit from some comments that former teammate Ray Lewis had made. He actually called out the former Super Bowl MVP for a lack of passion for the game.
First of all, he should be lucky he's still out as a free man, but that's a different story. But let me get back to what I was going to say. It's like he's bitter that Flacco carried the team to the Super Bowl, and he wasn't like the main guy that got the attention that Super Bowl year.
Hall of Famer, one of the greatest ever, but there could be some foul taste in his mouth from that 2012 season because, remind you, it wasn't until he came back from the injury, and he came back from the injury early, and they went on that late run. Now, Joe Flacco, I mean, his postseason performance that year was just unbelievable. So, it's really a debate. But for Ray Lewis, just to speak on anything Baltimore Ravens related at this point in the game, to me, it don't hold no weight with me because I understand that he's in the public eye, is trying to be a broadcaster, what have you. But, I would have thought that Ray Lewis would have been on the coaching staff or something for the Ravens. But, I guess he's doing his own thing. ESPN didn't want him. So I see him now on Skip Bayless' show a lot, Undisputed with Shannon Sharp. I don't know, but I think he is a little bit out of bounds as well, speaking on the Ravens, because, with me, it's what have you done for me lately? And Ray Lewis has not been visible when it comes to my Ravens. Another dope game we got, J.O., skip predictions for. This is an NFC matchup. The 6-2-1 Seattle Seahawks are hosting the 5-4 Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz, such an immediate impact to the Philadelphia Eagles, them and their defense. Who do you got in this particular matchup?
I'm picking against the Eagles.
I don't know about that offense. You can try to convince me all day that Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the NFL.
The best quarterback.
No way. But, Carson Wentz, he's passed for over 2,100 yards, 9 touchdowns against 5 interceptions. So far, he's completed about 65% of his passing. So he's been pretty poised beyond his years so far in his rookie display. But, going against this Seattle defense, playing in Seattle, I just think it's just too many pieces that's against him. So I'm definitely going to go with Seattle to edge the Philadelphia Eagles. This matchup, though, you could definitely see these revisiting each other in the playoffs. So this is a game to watch out for because this game could mean something as far as, position in the postseason, or they could just revisit each other in the playoffs. Definitely could see the Eagles and the Seahawks both making it. Now, let's talk about your team, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, with a chance to go under 2 games under 500. They're going into D.C. to face Kirk Cousins and the Washington Redskins.
It's going to be hard for me to say, but I predict the Redskins to win. I think this season is total waste, total wash, total collapse. I think Aaron Rodgers has lost the team. I think the coach is not respectable. I wish he would get fired immediately after the season. I don't even know why Dom Capers is still our defense coordinator.
The Redskins are just not a team that, gets my respect, even though they beat us earlier this year. So I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers is going to show up Sunday in FedEx Field and knock off the Washington Redskins. Again, this is the Best of 7 Sports Talk, T7M Radio. Callers, y'all call up 347-989-8102. We talking NFL. We got a pretty interesting Monday night football game between the Houston Texans going into the Oakland Raiders, red-hot Oakland Raiders out the AFC West. Now, the Texans not really bad as well, led by Brock Osweiler. Who you got in that particular matchup?
Oakland is the second-best team in the AFC. Houston, Osweiler has been a total flop. He hasn't been able to give DeAndre Hopkins the ball. They're missing J.J. Watt, who you think is the most overrated player in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And his presence not being there is going to show in this particular game. I got the Raiders, man. Raiders is playing with a lot of energy in the youth. The young talent is just hey man, they blazing right now. I got the Raiders winning handedly.
I mean, it's just so funny how I was just trying to preach to the choir, it seems like, in the preseason, letting you know that the Raiders was the serious team coming out the AFC West. You had no respect for them. You told me they were too young. You had Kansas City hands down repeating. You told me Oakland was too young. You didn't give them a shot. Now here we go a little bit halfway into the season, and it's funny to hear how you just, you dance into a different tune when it comes to the Raiders. Now, the Houston Texans, man, you're showing a little bit of disrespect. They are leading the AFC South. They're 6-3. The Texans removed one monkey off from their collective backs by winning on the road for the first time this year, beat the Jacksonville Jaguars Sunday. You're just not showing no respect. But, again, I selected and predicted Oakland to win the AFC West. And right now, they're 7-2, tied with Kansas City. They really do need this game. I'm going to cross my fingers. I'm going with the Oakland Raiders over the Houston Texans Monday night. Should be a good game. Last night, Cam Newton threw for 192 yards and a touchdown as the Carolina Panthers held off New Orleans' fourth quarter rally to beat the Saints 23-20 on Thursday night.
You know, the opponent almost came back and won that game. Cam Newton has not impressed me at all this season. He did make a big third down play, but, you know, coming off the MVP season like a lot of players have in years past, you know, this year has been a letdown.
I mean, people to me don't give Cam Newton enough credit, considering his receivers drop more than T-Mobile's cell phone service. If you analyze last year as well as this year's performance, without all the salt, I mean, his performance is pretty satisfactory. I mean, he's not having a terrible season. Again, I just feel like it's the pieces around him just don't make any sense. Nobody's producing. No one. Even Benjamin, who I'm surprised because we thought that Benjamin was going to have a breakout season this year. Now, for 2 years now, I know they was 15-1 last year, so this really kind of doesn't apply. But the Panthers have been known not to be able to close out games. Where do you think the hot seat is? There a hot seat that should be falling for Coach Rivera in Carolina?
No way. If I'm not mistaken, they won 3 straight divisional titles. So one bad year, I'm not going to just throw him and the whole coaching staff under the bus.
I mean, I'm not a Panthers fan. I do support Cam Newton, but they only 2 games behind Atlanta, and they played 1 game against each other. So the whole NFC South is a mess, but it's still up for grabs. So it's really not over. You never know.
They can't
afford to lose
another game. They have to run the table.
I can respect that. All right, well, those were the main games. Let's just get some real quick, rapid-fire predictions for the rest of the games in the NFL. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers facing the Cleveland Browns. Who you got between the Steelers and Cleveland?
I had the Steelers winning against the pitiful Browns. Hopefully RG3 comes back in a couple of weeks, but as it stands, they will continue to be winless.
Pittsburgh is done. And I think Cleveland is going to actually get their first game, their first win of the season at home this upcoming Sunday. Put it in the books. They go on 1-10. They will beat the Pittsburgh Steelers this upcoming Sunday. We got Jacksonville and the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions 5-4 facing the 2-7 Jacksonville Jaguars. Who you got?
Lions red hot. You know, many people in Stafford in MVP discussion. I got to go with the red hot team.
We got Tennessee. We got DeMarco Murray. Threw a touchdown, ran for some touchdowns last Sunday. Tennessee Titans, they've going into Aaron Luck's backyard facing the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going with Mariota in Tennessee.
I'm going with the Colts to win this game. Game could be very close. I expect this to be a high-scoring game. Both teams' defense are pathetic. I'm going to go with Andrew Luck, the fourth quarter comeback kid.
We got the 4-5 Buffalo Bills facing your Super Bowl predicted 3-5-1 Cincinnati Bengals. Who you going with?
I'm going with the Bengals, man. My Super Bowl pick.
Why you say that with so much conviction? And last week was the first week that you picked them in this whole season right now. You say that with so much conviction, like you're believable. I got the Buffalo Bills.
They win every game. Man,
yeah, but you ain't predict them none. You haven't predicted them none this season, but you predict them in the preseason and go to Super Bowl. I mean, that make no sense to me.
If I'm not mistaken, they're leading division. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, no. The Ravens are... now, you should be bad from talking football to me right now.
My bad.
I just set up there and broke down to you that the Ravens are sole possession. Sole possession.
Sometimes to get the Ravens are in the league, man. You gotta forgive me.
Come on, man. Cincinnati Bengals 3-5-1 on the year. I'm going with Buffalo. We got Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston 4-5. They going to the Kansas City Chiefs 7-2. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs over Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers. Who you got?
I have the Buccaneers. I'm going with my man Jameson pull off this victory. And Mike Evans is putting on a show this year. I don't see nothing changing.
We got Eli, Odell Beckham and company. The New York Football Giants facing the Chicago Bears, a good old NFL classic. Who you got in this one?
Man, I gotta go with the Giants, man. Odell Beckham he's box office, man. We watch the Giants games to see what Odell going to do, and more time than not, he's a showstopper.
The New York Giants are right behind the Dallas Cowboys. I told you it's not over, and when the Ravens beat the Cowboys this Sunday, the NFC East is going to look a little bit different. The struggle of Minnesota Vikings, man, this has probably been the biggest disappointment of the year. They've lost, I believe, 4 in a row. They will be hosting the Arizona Cardinals, led by Carson Palmer. Also, in my opinion, another disappointment. But who you got in this game?
I think Cardinals is going to make a second half push. I'm taking Carson Palmer.
This is a toss-up game to me. They need AP back. I know that much. Early on, people were talking about with the production and everything they were doing without AP. They have no identity without AP at the end of the day. They don't have him. So I'm going with Arizona because I just feel like they can score more. Jared Goff going to be quarterbacking getting his first NFL start, hosting the Miami Dolphins, the Los Angeles Rams. Who you got?
I'm taking the Rams, man. I think it's the first game. Although Ajayi for the Dolphins is putting on he's putting on a show this season. I think Todd Gurley finally get his 100 yards, and I think he's going to break off a couple of big runs. And Jared Goff win his first game as quarterback.
How disappointing is it that Gurley have not really been productive this season? I mean, he's been really
one of the most. It might be the biggest disappointment this year, actually.
Still stinging from the 31-24 home loss to the Seattle Seahawks. We got the New England Patriots locking in without Gronkowski this week to face the San Francisco 49ers. Tom Brady on the year, 121 for 166, over 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, 1 interception on the year. Who do you got between the Patriots and San Fran?
The Patriots, man. It's going to be a blowout. Shout out to Kaepernick for taking his ass beatings with class, but it's another beatdown under his helm.
Yeah, man, it's been a rough, tough, interesting season to say the least for Colin Kaepernick. Hopefully, this is the last in San Francisco to get a fresh start somewhere next year. But he made history, in my opinion. This has been a crazy year.
Best of 7 Sports Talk with 7 Mitchell on T7M Radio every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. 347-989-8102, and follow us on social media, T7M Radio on YouTube.